Hey everyone, ready to take a deep dive into the world of ChatGPT?
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere these days, isn't it?
It really is. This AI chatbot from OpenAI has just exploded 1 million users in just 5 days.
Yeah.
That's got to be some kind of record.
It's definitely caught everyone's attention.
And for good reason, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about an AI that can write emails, generate code, even compose music. It seems like there's nothing it can't do.
It's pretty impressive stuff.
So today, we're going to cut through all the hype and see what ChatGPT can really do.
Sounds good.
We've got articles, videos, you name it, a whole stack of sources to dig into.
Looking forward to it.
So to kick things off, what exactly is ChatGPT?
Well, in the simplest terms, it's a large language model, an AI chatbot developed by OpenAI.
Okay, so a chatbot like those customer service things you see popping up on websites.
Kind of, but way more advanced. What makes ChatGPT special is its ability to have natural-sounding conversations and do all sorts of tasks.
Like writing blog posts or translating languages. I've heard it can even write code.
Exactly. And it all comes down to how it was trained.
I'm kind of curious about that. How does something like this even learn to do all that stuff?
So imagine feeding a computer program a massive library of text and code. We're talking books, articles, websites, the whole shebang.
Wow, that's a lot of information.
It is. And that's essentially what OpenAI did. They trained ChatGPT on this massive data set, allowing it to learn patterns and relationships in language.
So it's like this AI absorbed all that information and then figured out how to use it, kind of like how we learn.
Exactly. The result is a system that can understand and generate human-like text in response to all kinds of prompts.
That's pretty mind-blowing.
Right, and we're just scratching the surface of what it can do.
The Simply Learn video had this great example of a guy, John, using ChatGPT to help him launch his startup.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one.
He had ChatGPT doing everything, writing marketing copy, blog posts, even debugging code.
It's a great example of how ChatGPT can be used in the real world.
It makes it seem like anyone can be an entrepreneur now with a little help from AI.
In a way, yeah. It's definitely lowering the barrier to entry for a lot of things.
So it can help with business stuff, but what about more everyday things?
Oh, it can handle that too. The OpenAI website gives you a sense of the range of things it can do. Need to send a quick text to your neighbors about a barbecue? ChatGPT can do that.
No way, really?
Yep. Or how about writing a Python script to automate your daily email reports?
Okay, now that's something I could actually use.
See? There's something for everyone.
It's amazing how versatile it is. I was looking at the OpenAI website, and one example really stood out to me. Explain nostalgia to a kindergartner.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right. Nostalgia is such a complex emotion. I'm really curious how ChatGPT would tackle that.
Me too. It would definitely have to simplify things quite a bit.
But if it can pull that off, it really shows how adaptable it is.
Definitely. It would have to tailor its language and explanation to a completely different audience.
So we've seen that it can explain complex feelings to a 5-year-old and write code for a seasoned developer. Pretty impressive.
No doubt about it.
But the Simply Learn video also mentioned that ChatGPT has some, let's say, limitations.
Ah, yes. It's not perfect.
Right. Like, it's not exactly up to date on current events.
That's a big one. ChatGPT is primarily trained on data up to 2021. So if you ask it about something that happened last week, it might not have a clue.
You know, that actually happened to me. I tried asking ChatGPT about the latest election results, and it was totally clueless.
Yeah, it's like having an encyclopedia from 2021. Still useful, but not always reliable for the latest information.
So for now, we still need to stick with good old Google for breaking news.
Pretty much.
Another thing that stuck with me was how the video emphasized that ChatGPT is still under development, meaning can make mistakes.
That's right. It's important to remember that it's a tool, not an oracle.
So we can't just blindly trust everything it spits out, right? We still need to use our own judgment and double-check things.
Exactly. Like with any information source, a healthy dose of skepticism is always a good idea.
Makes sense. And speaking of things that might make us a little skeptical, remember that How It Happened video? The one about those earlier chatbots that, well, didn't exactly go as planned?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Tay and Blenderbot.
Those are the ones.
Yeah.
They ran into some serious problems with bias and misinformation. Makes you wonder if ChatGPT could fall into the same traps.
It's definitely a concern. It shows how things can go wrong when you rely solely on AI without any safeguards in place.
So how's ChatGPT trying to avoid those same issues? I think the video mentioned something about moderation.
Yeah, OpenAI has implemented a bunch of moderation techniques to try and prevent ChatGPT from generating harmful or offensive content.
Sounds like a tough job, though. Language is so nuanced, and context matters so much. What might seem harmless in one situation could be totally inappropriate in another.
It is a really complex challenge, and they're constantly refining their approach as the technology
Like a
evolves.
constant balancing act,
Yeah,
right? Pushing the boundaries of what's possible while also making sure things don't go off the rails.
exactly. It's a tightrope walk for sure.
Well, it seems like there's a lot more to unpack here, especially when it comes to those ethical considerations.
Absolutely. There's a whole other side to the story that we need to explore.
All right, well, let's dive into those ethical concerns head on in the next part of our ChatGPT deep dive. Stay tuned.
Can't wait.
We were just talking about those earlier chatbots, Tay and Blenderbot, and how they, well, kind of went off the rails.
Yeah, those were some cautionary tales for sure.
It really makes you think about the potential downsides of this tech, even with something as advanced as ChatGPT.
Right, like giving someone a powerful tool without a safety manual.
Exactly. But OpenAI seems to be aware of these concerns, right?
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely taking steps to address them.
So, what are they doing to make sure ChatGPT is used responsibly? What kind of safety manual are we talking about here?
Well, one big thing is they've put a lot of work into developing moderation systems.
Moderation. You mean like filtering out bad stuff?
Exactly. They're trying to prevent ChatGPT from generating content that's harmful or offensive.
Makes sense. But language is so complex, isn't it? Context matters so much. What might seem fine in one situation could be totally offensive in another.
You're absolutely right. It's a tricky challenge for sure.
It's not like you can just program a computer to understand all those nuances, right?
Not easily, no. It's an ongoing process.
Okay, so they're working on that. But even if you can stop ChatGPT from saying bad things, there are still those bigger questions.
You mean about the impact on society as a whole?
Exactly. Like potential job displacement or the spread of misinformation.
Yeah, those are big ones. Complex issues with no easy answers.
The How It Happened video really brought those to light, especially the part about deepfakes.
Oh, deepfakes are a huge concern. The idea that ChatGPT could be used to create these incredibly realistic but totally fake videos.
That's scary stuff.
It is. And it's not just limited to videos. Think about fake news articles or social media posts.
All designed to mislead people.
Right. It can make it even harder to tell what's real and what's not.
It's almost like we need a whole new set of skills to navigate the internet these days.
In a way, yeah. Critical thinking and media literacy are more important than ever.
So we've talked a lot about the downsides, but it can't all be doom and gloom, right? There have got to be some positive applications too.
Of course. Remember, ChatGPT is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Okay, so what are some of the good things it can do?
Well, think about all those tasks that are really time-consuming for humans.
Like writing reports or summarizing meetings.
Exactly. ChatGPT could help with those things, freeing up people's time for more creative or strategic work.
I can see that. And what about using it as a learning tool?
That's another great application. ChatGPT could create personalized lessons, helping people learn new languages or skills.
Tailored to their own pace.
Exactly. It could make education more accessible and engaging.
So instead of replacing teachers, it could actually help them.
Exactly. It's about finding ways to use this technology to enhance human capabilities.
Okay, that's a much more optimistic way to look at it.
Technology doesn't have to be our enemy. It's all about how we choose to use it.
But I still can't help but wonder about the big picture. Is ChatGPT going to change the world as we know it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's hard to predict the future with certainty.
It definitely feels like a pivotal moment.
It is. We're at a crossroads.
So, what can we do to make sure this all goes in the right direction?
I think the most important thing is to stay informed and engaged.
Keep learning and asking questions.
Exactly. We need to be part of the conversation.
Well said. And now that we've explored the potential impacts, I'm curious about how ChatGPT could be used in more creative fields. We've talked about the practical applications, but what about its potential in art, music, even storytelling?
Ah, now that's where things get really interesting.
Let's dive into that after a quick break. All right, we're back and ready to explore the more creative side of ChatGPT.
Yeah, this is where things get really exciting.
Before the break, we were talking about its potential in music, art, even storytelling.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
I was reading an article about an AI composing a whole symphony. Could ChatGPT do something like that?
Well, ChatGPT itself might not be able to compose a full symphony, but it can definitely generate musical ideas, melodies, harmonies, things like that.
So it's more like a tool for musicians to use, not a replacement.
Exactly. It's like a collaborator helping them explore new ideas and push their creativity further.
I can imagine a songwriter using it to help with lyrics, or a painter using it to come up with new color palettes.
It's like having an AI muse right there with you.
And it's not just music and art, right? What about writing screenplays or even novels?
There's definitely potential there, too. People are already experimenting with AI-generated stories.
So maybe instead of fearing that AI will take over creative fields, we should think of it as a new tool to unlock even more human potential.
Exactly. It's all about how we choose to use it.
Speaking of choices, we've talked a lot about the ethical concerns around ChatGPT. What are the developers doing to address those?
Well, OpenAI is constantly working to make ChatGPT safer. They're improving their moderation systems to prevent harmful content and trying to reduce bias in their models.
It sounds like a never-ending challenge, though, especially as technology keeps advancing.
It is, and it's not just up to OpenAI. We all have a responsibility to think critically about AI and its impact on society.
So where do we go from here?
Hmm.
What's next for ChatGPT?
It's hard to say for sure, but one thing is clear. This is just the beginning.
And with these advancements, it's more important than ever to stay informed and engaged.
Absolutely. The future of AI is being shaped right now, and we all need to be part of that conversation.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into ChatGPT. We've covered a lot of ground, from its capabilities to its potential impacts and its role in creative fields.
It's been great exploring all this with you.
And hopefully our listeners are now more informed and ready to engage with this amazing technology.
That's what we hope for.
That's it for our deep dive into ChatGPT. Stay curious, keep learning, and let's shape the future of AI together.
Until next time.